Welcome to You're Allowed to Hate Your Husband, a modern day love story. I am Remy Stern. I'm a relationship coach, and we are going to talk all things relationships, from being single to dating to being engaged, married. Who you marry is the most important decision you will ever make.
If you're looking for a wife, which is a beautiful thing to do, the best thing to do is to choose wisely.
If you're thinking, what am I doing wrong? Everybody else has it right. Then you are in the right place, because trust me, nobody knows what they're doing. I'm so excited. Please hop right in, listen to this episode, listen to this series, and we are so excited that you are joining us here. I am so excited for you to listen to this episode today. It's really an amazing episode. We are joined by Hannah and Joe from the dating app First Rounds on Me, and we discuss all things dating, a few things marriage, and kind of what in the dating process you're looking for. Because if you don't know what you're looking for with the end goal of marriage, it's very hard to find it. And we talked about bringing fun and excitement and joy and sexiness into dating. And in this new age where dating apps are predominantly the space to meet people, how to make it fun and actually find your person through using an app, and really combining all things we're looking for, spontaneity and just excitement, that fun of dating. And we talk about tips and tricks. We tell fun stories of our dating, our marriage. It's a really amazing episode. It's one of my favorites. I'm so excited for you guys to listen. So go enjoy. Welcome to You're Allowed to Hate Your Husband, which...
Yeah, we just found out that was the name of it.
It's the most amazing name I've heard.
I don't know how I feel about it. I really love it, but that means that you hate me.
I
think you're relishing in this too.
She's saying you're allowed to. It's not saying a blanket statement of you hate your husband, but like...
But now you're going to be honest about all the times that you hate me.
When am I not honest? When have I never not been honest with you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is I came up with the title, and I was so scared to tell my husband. I was like, oh my God. Actually, the person I was most scared to tell was my mother-in-law. I was like,
that checks out. Yeah, I can understand that.
She's my biggest fan. She's like, yes, you are allowed to. She's like, I hate him too. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make me feel better about how annoying he is sometimes. But it happened. I was listening to my friends, and we're all like recently married within the past few years, let's say. So we don't have the answers whatsoever, but we could all relate to each other on our dating journeys, on how we met our husbands, and now being married with young kids, right? And I would listen to people talking, and they were like, my husband is driving me insane. And I was like, oh, kind of same. But like, we were beating around a bush of like, no, but he's like really driving me crazy, right?
It's like a specific skill that husbands have to drive you absolutely insane sometimes.
Exactly.
We don't do anything.
No, that's the issue. You guys just don't get it. But we love you guys more than anything. But in my opinion, being married isn't an innate skill. It's a learned skill. So was dating, and we'll talk about that in a
100%.
second. And I heard Michelle Obama on Instagram one day saying, she's like, for 10 years, I hated Barack, and like this whole speech. And I was like, hey,
are you allowed to say that?
And I was like, oh my God, she hated Barack. So like, that means I can hate my husband. And it was this just like acceptance of it.
I'm having a momentary hate of you right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it fades away.
Which I'm sure it works vice versa as well with being, I'm pretty perfect. No,
this is literally the story of my life. I'm like, but I really want to know like what he could ever hate me for. And I think nothing, because I'm literally perfect. Like and I tell him every day, I'm like, you're so lucky you married me. Like,
I said the same thing
I
to
can
Joe.
tell, by the way, with you too.
You guys sound the same.
We're very similar in that regard. Very, very similar.
Yeah.
Joe's like, oh.
I think Joe's probably never been this silent on a podcast.
No, probably not, truth be told. But
No, actually, since we switched the podcast where Hannah's the host now, it's kind of just been making fun of me with whoever the guest is, and that's just my daily
It's been
life.
really
So it's like
Welcome
I'm just used to it.
Yeah. So before we get into everything, and again, we're going to be focusing on dating in this call, not marriage, even though you're leading to marriage.
That
And
is
I
the
do
end
think
goal.
there's an amount of like knowledge people should have in their dating journey of where they're going, right? Because I think we all have this different idea, and we're dating, hoping guys might like us. I don't know the guy side as much, but just the end goal isn't as clear. So we're able to, talk looking backwards, saying this is the end goal and this is how you get here. But for fun, because I know why my husband, quote unquote, hates me. It's because he says that I'm a messy pig is why he hates me. I'm like, okay, but that's
like what, in the sense of like around the house, or like when you eat? Like what is it?
No. I'm very, very, very clean. I'm a clean person. I shower like 7,000 times a day. New York City is disgusting. I'm very clean. I walk in the house in my jacket. You probably saw when you guys walked in. Like my jacket gets thrown. My shoes get put over there. My water bottle goes here. My baby's thing goes here. And like before you know it, we live in the home. The home gets messy. Like,
Clutter.
So sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not organized. Whatever. It drives him insane, I guess. I'm trying to figure it out. But like, okay, fine. That's what drives him crazy about me. What
drives him crazy about me?
I'm sure she's got a million things.
Don't worry, we're going to turn to you too at some point.
I actually think, for the most part, and this is not just because he's in the room.
You can be honest.
I will. Don't you worry, I will. It's one thing that always baffles me, and we were even dealing with it today. When he's in a very good mood, he likes to annoy me even more. He likes to push and he knows exactly how to push my fucking buttons. And I know for a fact it comes from a place of him being joyful, so I can't be that angry about it. But like earlier, I was like, can you just shut the fuck up, please? Can you just stop fucking pushing my buttons for 1 second? Like, oh my God. So that would be it. And also, I think that I'm like the opposite. He just throws shit everywhere.
Always.
He walk in the house. I will clean our apartment to the nth degree because I love cleaning. It's like a really therapeutic thing for me. And within an hour, there's just shit everywhere. But other than that, that's like, I'd say they're like the two things that make me hate you sometimes.
That is hysterical. And it's always, the woman or the girl in the relationship is always like, wait, I don't get it. Like, that's literally me with my husband. I'm like, I don't know. I guess I wasn't taught how to be like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't see it. I don't see the mess. So I get it. Also, and then we're going to turn to you because it goes both ways. Exactly.
Damn straight it does.
But it is something that drives me crazy about Jonathan too, is actually not when he's in a good mood, but a positive thing too. So I think that's like when you somewhat know it's the person is when it's like an uplifting thing that drives you crazy, right? So like sometimes when I'm very sad and like I'm in the mood to be depressed one day and I'm like, whatever I'm feeling. And
you need to get that emotion out that way.
Exactly. I like want to be depressed. He's like, okay, now pick yourself back up. What are you going to go do to like feel good? And I'm like, no. I'm depressed. And he's like, no, you're not. Look at how many amazing things you have in your life. And I'm like, no, fuck off. I'm depressed. But like, it's a good thing.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing.
But we don't get it, so you can't blame us.
Well, I mean, like, I feel like he was blessed with like a pure equilibrium of minds.
Yeah,
right?
maybe me, but it's just men. And I'm not going to mansplain. But from what you tell me, you go through daily emotions.
Yes.
And
we have a hormonal scale
saying that when you're going through these emotions, you guys are crazy. But you tell me, hey, sorry, this will be you. We'll fight. And I'm like, listen.
I'll lose my mind about something.
I don't know what's going on, but you're acting crazy. And you're like, how dare you say that? Blah, 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 blah. 2 days later, you're like, hey, babe, I'm so sorry. Like, I was going through my period. And, my emotions were high. And I'm like, okay. And then fast forward 3 weeks. You're acting crazy. Don't call me crazy.
At least I have the tact to turn around and be like, listen, sorry about that. I understand that I was acting a little bit off.
And now I'm quiet and I'm just like, hey, let me not say she's crazy. Let me just sit here. And then she'll be like, why are you quiet? You're making it worse. And I'm like,
you can't do anything.
What do you want
in
me
like
to
a
do?
3-day period in the month, there's nothing you can do.
And it happened 2 nights ago. She was having, I guess a rough hour. And I was just sitting there. And I was like, I'm not going to fight with her. I'm not going to tell her to be positive. I'm not going to say a word. So we're walking through Stop and Shop, this grocery store. And she's like, why are you quiet? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, this is ridiculous that you're quiet. And I'm like, what do you want me to do?
But wait, in my head, I'm like, this is ridiculous. But also at the same time, I'm allowed to say this to you. Like,
she's like, you should help me. And I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? Just don't be quiet. I'm like,
but don't say too much. I don't know what I want you to do right now, but it's not what you're doing.
Literally, I forget where it's from, but it's like, you have to shut the fuck up when you're talking or something.
Yeah,
It's
shut
like,
the fuck
no,
up
no.
when you're talking to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I always say that there.
I can only
What's
imagine
it from?
how confusing that is sometimes for your man brain to go,
Yeah.
okay, what the fuck do
Yeah,
I do
so
and how do I handle this
It's not
situation
that
right
we're
now?
positive or calm. We're just normal.
Same. Yeah, same.
It's just normal. Again, you don't have that hormonal influx going on
And I don't blame
every
you for
goddamn
it.
month.
But just don't
No,
blame me.
Jonathan said to me, he's like, okay, just like explain to me for 1 second, like, what does PMS feel like? I'm like, you don't get it. It's like a cloud, a dark cloudness comes over your life and your body is raging. And he's like, what? Like, the most I think about is like, what football team am I going to pick this week? And like, what should I have for lunch? Oh my God, no, I can't. I'm so excited to ask her.
It's literally that, like, and I always think this, like,
I
women.
thought that would have been your pet peeve or your issue with me.
it's
Football on Sunday.
same.
Well,
Every
is.
Sunday I tell her, don't bother me for 4 hours.
Can I give you insight?
Please.
Make Sunday your fucking day.
I've started to do that now.
Now I live for football Sundays. I get a massage every Sunday. If you're going to watch football all day, I'm getting a massage.
She just started doing
I
that.
have wine with my friends during the day. I love Sundays.
I used to get really frustrated, but I've just taken a page out of your book literally and gone, all right, I'm going to use this day. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to treat myself in a way that you're treating yourself, but I can't be too frustrated because he works so hard with the app all day, every day. We're talking like 18-hour days most days.
Good for you.
And I know it's one of the things that really helps him relax. So I can't be frustrated at it.
Yeah.
At the moments of frustration, sure. And now, like, coming into it and going, all right, fuck it, I'm going to take this day for myself. You can have your day.
Good, I love
we'll
that.
come together at the end of the day and we'll see if you won or not.
Exactly. And it's the funniest thing ever. I'm like, please win. So it just like, it's worth it's
so you're
worth the
happy
annoyance.
today. Exactly.
But it's also another thing of like, when you're in a relationship, and I know we're talking a lot about relationships right now, and my obsession is actually the dating side. So we'll get there because it is a thing. It's men are from Mars, women are from Venus, or whichever way that goes. And I always like try to impose my ways of relaxing. And like, I want him more than anything to like try meditating with me and like going on hikes with me and these things. And listen, it's not his thing. And it's okay. We're different. It's totally okay. We met each other. We have these amazing similarities, and like in the dating process, just there's so much to dating. So we'll get there, but there's absolutely amazing reasons we're together. We help each other grow. We meet in the middle about things, but like that acceptance of literally football makes him calm down. And like, I'm like journaling for 7 hours in the morning, meditating, like talking to my life coach, this whole thing. And he doesn't get it. Okay, fine. Like he's got his ways. They say, just fun fact, men, that women are like the moon and we wake up different every single day. So you got to tell us every morning, I love you, because the one you told yesterday you love her, she's a complete different person today. Men are like the sun. They wake up the same every day. So
That's
fun
good.
fact.
That's a
great.
really good analogy. I've
The
never
fact
heard
that you said
before.
that on the car ride into the city today, I said, you're like one of those charts that just goes up and down. And she said, what do you mean? I said, I don't mean to pick a fight with you, but 2 days ago, you were absolutely crazy. Yesterday, you were so amazing. And today, you're crazy again. And I said, I don't know. You just go like this. And she said,
I said,
wow.
try being a fucking woman for
Yeah,
a day and then come
literally.
at me and talk to me about it. But to your point, I think that that's probably like the best dating or relationship advice that you could ever have is to understand from the absolute get-go, men and women think, feel, and act so differently. So if you expect your partner, unless you're in a same-sex, partnership, if you expect your partner to act and think the way that you do, that is the beginning of the end.
in dating, listen, it's important to recognize the difference between men and women. Like, it's not, I mean, like, we could generalize, we could not, whatever, but there are differences when you're in a relationship and when you're dating. Women and men are different. And to work that out in the dating world when, you're looking for a husband or wife in a long-term partnership, and I love that your app kind of like reverses these dating situations that have come up of just swiping left and right.
Hurdles, we call them.
Yeah.
But what is it called?
Hurdles, dating hurdles.
Hurdles,
Dating
okay.
app hurdles.
Okay, I love it. Dating app hurdles. Because I use obstacles a lot with my clients.
Yes,
Because it's
obstacles,
the same thing.
yeah.
Because like all it means is you turn left or right. You can maybe go over. It doesn't mean you're like stuck and you're stopped and that's that. Stop doing what you're doing for a second. Stand back, look around, and find the way. It's all good. It's an obstacle. So I'm curious. I have a few questions here, but we're going to get into this, and I'm so excited. I do want to know how you guys met, but where do you guys want to start? Just for
Yeah, we
that.
could start with
That's
that.
not what we
But I love how the both of you just skipped over my issues with her. But it's fine.
Do you want to
it's
say
fine.
that?
It's
Do you want to tell
fine.
me what you hate about me?
I think you guys are good on that.
Was it about her being crazy and her being?
Yeah, that you basically said
No.
it already.
But it's about how she'll have 10 glasses of half-filled cups by her bed for about a week.
Oh my God,
And then every night she'll be like, can you go get me a cup of water? I'm like,
I just
but
like
it's just going to sit
beverages.
there for a week. Anyway.
I know I only drink half of it. I don't know why. It's just it's such a horrible habit. but-
Oh my God,
How
I
we
love
met?
that.
Yeah, we actually. So I moved to LA in 2020,
Yes.
June 2020, and I was already starting First Rounds on Me, but it was just an idea, really. Like we were in the process of making the MVP, and it was very bare bones. But I used Hinge. Like I was a really big advocate of Hinge. I really liked it. But I would use Hinge the way that First Rounds on Me worked. So of course I would swipe randomly sometimes, and not talk to the people or meet up with them. But if I did see somebody that I really thought was interesting, I wanted to be on a date as fast as possible. So she had liked me. I think it was a Sunday
There's
night.
debate about that, but yeah, all right.
It was a Sunday night.
Don't you have to like each
And,
other to get fast?
I looked at the profile, and at the time I was living in a house with a female roommate, and she was kind of like, the person who knew
It's like
where
a
I
big
was going
sister.
on my dates.
Yeah.
So I showed her the profile, and she was like, that's not a real person, so you're getting catfish.
You're getting
I said,
catfish.
shut up, you're a liar.
No.
So then I told her, I said, listen, I really don't like wasting time on these apps, because no matter how good the person is you meet, if you waste more time, you're going to have all these connections. I'm sure you have a million connections, and I'm just going to be lost. So I'd really like to meet you as soon as possible. And she was like, oh, I love it. I'm free tonight or Wednesday. And I said, that's great. I'll see you tonight. She said, side note, I'm a vegan. I was like, what's a vegan?
Not a vegan anymore, but was.
Okay.
Googled
Okay.
like vegan restaurant. I said, okay, I'll see you here at 8:00. She said, that's amazing. I said, I'd love to come pick you up. She said, absolutely not. Like, you're
Don't
a
know
stranger.
you.
Uh-huh.
So we met at this restaurant that day, and it happened so quickly, the same way that you'd meet in real life.
Mhm.
And
It was almost like we had met at a bar, just
And-
purely because we had talked for maybe 5 minutes on the app, just being like, g'day, where you from? How you going? And then he was like, listen, I don't want to waste time. Do you want to go out? And I said, yeah, tonight or Wednesday, kind of trying to test his spontaneity. We'd be like, how spontaneous really are you? And the space of which we matched to then when we were on the date was like 4 hours. So
it was
very
great
quick.
because when
4 hours from the time you guys
matched to
till-
then we were actually on the date.
No.
Yeah.
the same day.
Same day, same night.
Bravo. Okay, fine.
And I was
And it was a
hungover as
Sunday,
anything.
and there was football on too.
Oh, see?
So I missed
my
football
gosh.
at
You
night.
know that's
You
love.
Actually, no.
Wow.
I set the date up 8:00 in LA, which football just ended.
See what I have to deal with. You know what I have to deal with.
But it was great because, like, when we got on the date, I knew nothing about her. Like, I knew she was from Australia. I knew, like, her job. And I had so many questions. She had so many questions for me that we were just talking for hours.
It's the best.
And it was like, oh, wow. Like, we could talk. We have a great energy with each other. We're interested in, like, a lot of the same
It was
things.
it was a very instant connection. It was like one of those, I've said this before, but it's like one of those rom-coms where it's like the waitresses kept coming over and being like, you guys ready to order? We're like, oh, we've just been talking to each other so much we couldn't even think about it. But it was truly like, I don't say that to like blow smack up your ass, but it was like one of, if not the best first date I ever had, just because of the level of communication that we were having. We were just like delving like surface level and deep and everywhere in between, and it was so beautiful.
I forget that we met on a dating app.
Yeah, me too,
It's
sometimes.
So cute.
But
I
yeah,
love that.
Hinge. Short
Okay,
answer.
so beautiful. So you guys got on the date, and how did you pick a place so quickly? How did you?
Oh, I just Googled
Vegan.
vegan restaurant, and it was actually
Oh.
right down the street from where I live.
Right around the corner from him. And it was actually one of my favorite vegan restaurants it's called Gracias Madre. It's beautiful.
Oh, I love Gracias Madre because I'm from LA, and
Oh.
I have opposite. I came to New York, and then like
Delicious.
I guess I signed a lifelong contract here. It was not the plan, but here we are. Okay, and then do you feel like it's that classic, like, was it love at first sight, or what was that like? How did you guys somewhat know that? I love this idea. Was it love at first sight?
For me personally, I went home to my room because I was living with one of my best friends at that moment. I went home and I was like, I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm going to marry that man. There was just this feeling inside of me, and I'd gone on so many dates. I've been in a lot of relationships, and I never felt that way before. But I think because he was so fresh to Los Angeles, a long-term relationship perhaps wasn't the first thing on his mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that you had some kind of butterflies going on, but perhaps not to the level that I did. Because I was just like, I'd been living there for 11 years. I was like, I'm so done with the LA dating scene. Finally found somebody that's like a gentleman that I connect with really well. Like, I'm okay to stop looking for the right now.
Yeah, mine was like an internal battle.
Okay.
Because our first date was so amazing. And then, so big thing I'm an advocate of is setting up a second date while you're on a first date. So we made plans for a second date. And on our second date, it was just as amazing. And I told her, I said, I want to say something to you that I've never really said to anybody in a while. And look, it was, I love you, but I didn't say it. She's like, I know what you want to say. And I didn't say it.
How long was this?
This is our second date.
Second date. So essentially,
I thought we went quick.
So essentially it was love at first sight for me as well. But like Hannah said,
Wow.
I just got to LA. I was in the process of like, starting my entrepreneurial journey. And I think if you are a gentleman in LA, a lot of women throw themselves at you because there's not a lot of them in LA. So I was just getting this validation from everyone. And I was like, I was enjoying it to some degree, but also I was scared that, you don't know when you're going to meet your potential partner for life. And when you do come across that person, as a man who's single, who lived in New York City, who lived in LA, it's scary. And like, we're immature. And I was like, I don't want to not be single. Like, I love this. This is amazing. So I kind of battled with that. And then a great thing that she did was on our third date, she kind of, and I'm a big advocate of this, she kind of laid it out there. She was like, I really have strong feelings for you. And I would rather not have them grow and get hurt. And I want to just tell you who I am and what I feel. And on our third date, I was like, whoa, this is a lot. So I was kind of like essentially breaking up with her.
Yeah, he was trying to.
Okay.
But
we weren't going to let that
But I
happen.
feel like there's always one, like, I feel like your future wife or your future husband, you're going to have a really difficult conversation with. And if you get over that hurdle, that's like your person. And she said, well, no, like, why? Why do you want to like not talk to me? Because I know how you feel about me.
Yeah.
And she put me on the spot and I was like, okay, like you're.
I said, you almost bloody told me that you loved me on our second date, and now all of a sudden on like third or fourth date, I could feel you pulling away. Like, explain to me why. Have the confidence and have the fucking balls to either say straight to my face, or I'll be happy to part ways too. I'll be totally okay, but I'm just letting you know, like, if you want to walk down this road, it's not going to be this like half in, fucking half out situation.
Yeah.
You're either fully in or you're fully out.
Yeah,
Good
and I went fully in, but again, I went fully in knowing that I'm never going to meet somebody that I have this connection with again. But I still had that like single Joe pulling me back. So like the first few months we were together were like really tumultuous.
Yeah.
Good use of that.
But yeah, we made it.
We did make it. We did make it.
Amazing. And I have so many questions and so many thoughts, because a huge thing is girls should kind of hear from the guy's side. Like, that's totally understandable and totally normal that those were thoughts of yours, those were feelings of yours. And for you, as a woman, I think of this biologically. And again, this people like push back on this, but I don't really care, because I biologically, when women make a decision to be with a man, biologically, they could potentially be stuck with that decision for 9 months plus 18 years. Because it's like, biologically, we have to think about it. We're more internal beings. Our bodies are internal beings. And we have to think about things and like be serious about it. In my opinion, the hookup culture kind of screwed us girls in the sense that it's like, listen, men are external beings. They're a little more boom, boom, boom. They can kind of spread what they need to spread as far as they want to spread
Again,
it.
biologically, like,
So biologically, okay. Some men are much more emotional, some women a little more closed off. But you did, in my opinion, did something great. And I know somebody who recently went through a breakup, and pretty early on, it was it was a few months, like closer to a year. And she put a little pressure on the guy. She said, listen, like, is this headed towards marriage? Is it not? And he was in. It seemed like it was headed towards marriage. And then he got that cold feet and was like, I'm out, right? And so the debate is, people are like, did you pressure him too early? Like, what if you just kind of like played it out and saw if it went somewhere? And she's like, no, thank God I did this earlier rather than later, because I wouldn't have wanted to find out in 2, 3, 4 more years from now. Like, under a year, we had a good time. on to the next. Obviously, these are her clearest thoughts. Like, it's more emotional than
Yeah,
that.
of course.
But I think to figure it out is great. At the same time, there is a dance to dating, a tango to
Of
it.
course.
That back and forth of like, there is something to a girl being, the cool girl. Like, you also want to be this receptive energy that's drawing the guy in. So as a guy, as a girl, like, how do you guys think that plays out in dating, of being straightforward, being honest, but also allowing it to take its course and like being receptive and cool girl?
I think that, I'm not an advocate for going on the first date being like, without even really establishing a connection or understanding like where this could be headed, going, what do you want? How do you want to tell me all of the information about you right now? But I think if I use our relationship for an example, we both knew, like, we are made up of energy and we could feel this draw towards each other. So I'm a big advocate. If you can feel that the other person, that you're both kind of on the same page, even if there is like this one person maybe like pulling away for some reason, you have nothing to lose by putting it out into the table, not in an aggressive way, not in a confrontational way, but in an emotionally open way of going, hey, listen, I know that you have feelings for me. I clearly have feelings for you. If you're not ready to be in that space yet, that's totally okay, but I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to be in this half in, half out situation. I value myself a lot more than that. And so I think that, I don't think there's any necessarily like stop timeline, but I think it's just about the feelings and how you feel in that moment. What do you think?
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between marriage and serious relationship. Like, I think you should be honest about, I want a serious relationship. That's what you kind of did.
Yeah.
Because if on the third date you're like, I want to marry you, I'd be like, or like, are we talking about marriage? And just be like,
No.
absolutely not. So I think having an upfront conversation about, hey, I want a relationship is great. And I think the way you position the question is great, because it is interesting to play both sides of. One of the challenges that we had is because I really love when a woman plays like not too cool, but like,
of course.
I don't know, you like,
hard to get.
Of course.
I got a lot of suitors out here. When Hannah and I met, it was the pandemic, which was challenging because like you can't really play that game. And also she was a very, very successful model. And when I met her, she literally was like, during the pandemic, not modeling, and like was retiring from modeling and wasn't really busy. And maybe she had like more time to think and more time to focus on me. When if I had met her when she was like 25, she'd be working all day, every day, flying all over the world. And I'd be like, damn, like she's so cool. And I think it's interesting because I agree with both. Like, you should be honest, but also like, if she was honest on our third date that I want a relationship, but was also flying all over the world, I'd be like, shoot, like she wants a relationship with me, but she's flying, modeling with all these good-looking guys. Like, damn, like that's cool. So I think it's a complicated.
It's
response.
hard, and a lot of women typically, and again, I'm speaking for women because that's what I know, will fall into the place of like, does he like me? Does he not? He's pulling back, and I've heard that men, from my husband, do end up knowing very quickly. Is this what he calls a keeper category, or is this a fun Saturday night category? And it's really difficult for a woman to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I don't think so many women want to be this Saturday night category. Like, I think most women. So it's hard and men and women are different. Like, again, we can't fight that fact. It's hard for women to know which category they're in. So how to decipher it. And maybe that's, to your point, it's a dance.
It is.
But for men, I love how you break down how women feel. For men, and I don't mean to sound this the wrong way, it's more calculated, where it's like we're not emotionally like pulled to a woman the way you're pulled to us when you know, okay, I love this person, I'm going to marry this person. At least for me, it was like, okay, I know eventually I want to be married and I want to have kids. And then I know that with this woman I have a really strong connection. And then you start calculating, okay, I have all these things with her. Is she like the one that I want to like stop searching, or like, do I think I can do better? And not to sound like better, but it's like, it's just more calculated. Like, okay, I know that yes, I'm a great catch, but I'm 30 something years old. I want to have kids. She's beautiful. She makes me laugh. We have a great connection. This is good. This is great. Like, I'm probably not going to find anything. I'm probably not going to find anything better than this. And like, I know it sounds like calculated, but That's what I thought.
It's wholly less emotional, I think, from a male's perspective than it is a female.
But of course, the connection and the love was like what was the foundation.
Of course.
On top of that, I was just like, as much as I'm, confident and talk about myself a lot, I don't know if I'm ever going to find something better than you.
What it sounds like for you guys is my husband and I would say, like, we sat down and there was something different in the room. Like, I had been on enough dates. There was this immediate connection. He says, like, he was 37 when we started dating, and he'd obviously dated a lot. He said it was like finally the Wi-Fi connected. And we had, like, it was just like, it just connects. It's like very simple. It's very easy and it connects.
Some kind of puzzle piece fits together in your brain and in your heart. And it's like somewhere in your own psyche where you just go, I don't know. Like I said, I came home from that date and I was like, I don't know how and I don't know when, but I'm going to marry that man.
100%. Same. And my friend said to me, and I was like, was young and I just got to New York, maybe similar to you in the sense that I was like, I had been ghosted by enough guys. I did want something, but like I wasn't like there to be like, this is my one. And my friend said to me a few weeks later, like, you're going to marry this guy. And I knew, and I was like praying. I was like, ugh, I'm obsessed with him. Like I wanted more than anything to marry him, but they were like, you're going to marry this guy. And I was like, no, like inside, but there's something that you just know. And I think as calculated as the guy is, there is also that missing puzzle piece of they know.
Yeah.
100%.
So I have a question on when you guys were dating. You said that you were in the space of, you had more free time, more openness. You had just gotten there and kind of were like this taken mindset. My husband and I always talk about how, like, when you're single and you want to meet someone so badly and it just seems like there's no good guys out there and nobody's interested and whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you get a boyfriend and like every guy asks you on a date. I think it happens. He says it happens for men too, of like, there will be times that like a guy's like, oh, I want to find a girl. There's no girls. They're with someone. And like all of a sudden all these girls want them, right? Want to date with them. And so my husband and I say, like, when you're single, almost pretend like you have a boyfriend. We're speaking to women again. Pretend like you have a boyfriend. And if you're literally act in a movie, like, that guy's at home. Who cares? It's the idea of you don't need this person. Like, you don't need them. And I think guys smell that energy of like, 100%. You don't need them, but like, you're kind of this unattainable thing, right? And that's, in my opinion, very attractive for a man. And for a woman to get on that wavelength is really cool. But we met when I like decided, because I felt really low in life, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to meet my husband when I feel this crappy. Like, I need to turn my life around. And as soon as I did that, 6 weeks later, Andrew calls, says, can I set you up? And I was like, no, not the time. Obviously, my husband smelled that energy on me of like, it's not the time. Like, did you find in your life at the time, were you in a space where you like were kind of okay on your, like, what space in your life were you at when you
I've always been okay on my own. I've lived outside of, I moved to Paris when I was just barely 17 and lived by myself all around the world. So I mean, I said to him then, and I still say it to him now, I don't need you, I want you. And I want to be your partner. Beautiful. But I don't need anybody. I'm totally okay to be able to exist by myself. Did I always have a dream of getting married and having children? Of course. Did I know where that was going to be and how that was going to be? No. And I never really felt pressured either by like the age thing. I was never really one of those types of people or women who was like, oh shit, I've hit my 30s. Now I've got to, I've got to do X, Y, and Z to be able to fit this mold. But I think I was definitely, in a way, was kind of like a serial monogamist. I really enjoyed being in relationships. I really loved the safety, the comfort, and the enjoyment that comes along with being in a relationship. However, I chose some real fucking crazy ones. Some real kind of bad seeds in a lot of ways. And so when Joe and I met, I was like, I could sense that he's just a good human to the core, which in of itself was incredibly attractive, not only in like an immediate sense, but also in a sense of like family and longevity. But I think that there was a part of me that was quite ready to settle down. Like I was ready to go with it. But as I said, I will probably to the day I die go, I don't need anybody. Want ya, but don't need you.
In the end of the day, it's you, yourself, and you, or me, myself, and I. And COVID taught us that a lot of like, I'm left with myself in the end of the day, so I better freaking like this person, and I, better show myself that love. So I love that that's the space that you're in, have always been in. And in marriage, I always say this, if you're lonely and dating and like hoping that you meet someone to fill you up, guess what's going to happen? It's going to come with you into your marriage. You're going, when your husband's out playing basketball with the boys or whatever his activity is, and you're sitting at home waiting for your husband to get home, you're going to feel that loneliness. Versus if you are whole and full and not looking for anybody to fill you up, it's a lot. I notice when I do that, my husband is like super drawn to me. It's like, wants me so much more when I'm like taken, even in marriage. So it's fascinating.
I think he could probably relate to that.
Yeah.
And it's a bit difficult at the moment because we're going through the visa process. So I'm not legally able to work. I'm not, I'm kind of stuck within confines of being a human here in this country. And so it's been more difficult to navigate just purely because of that. But then, on the flip side, it's opened up my days to be able to help him as much as I possibly can with the app, which has been, as he says to me every day, quite invaluable. And
wow, can't wait to hear more.
I think it is that innate thing. I think men, regardless of the stage of the relationship, whether they're married for 50 years or they're dating for 5 days, they want to see that their partner, the person that they're with, is as motivated, as okay, taking care of themselves as they are.
100%. Would you agree? I'm assuming.
Yeah, but I think from my point of view, I feel like men in their 20s are not that appealing to a woman because when I was in my 20s, I lived here in the West Village, and I would always go out and try and hook up with a girl. And like we were saying, women sense that. It's like, okay, this guy, he's trying and it's not attractive. And I loved when women obviously didn't try because they become that unicorn. And then when I moved to LA, I was now 30 and I knew who I was. I was way more confident. I didn't really care. And I was just not trying to hook up with somebody. And because I was so laid back and just didn't care, she could attest to this. When I met her, there was like so many women texting me. She's like, why are all these women texting you? I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my God, I would have punched him.
And I
was that close?
I would have literally murdered him.
I was like, delete their numbers out of your phone
immediately,
right now.
Obviously. I go on Jonathan's Instagram and I'm like, no, unfollow every single one of these accounts immediately.
See, it's not just me.
But I think it goes back to like, because I didn't care. And
it's
then
attractive.
I was like, the fact that I'm married, when I walk around with this ring, it's so funny how
girls hit on you.
Oh my, well, not hit on me, but just because I won't let them hit on me.
Good answer, baby. Good answer.
It's just like they see, because again, I'm not looking at them. When if I was single and a pretty girl walked by, I would obviously make eyes and be like, hey, what's up? Now I don't make eyes. They see the ring and they're like, oh, not only is he doesn't care about me, but he can go all the way. This guy is the home run.
Yeah, 100%. So then it's so fascinating. I never actually went on dating apps because they were kind of just starting when I got married. And you're on a dating app and now you're like clearly looking, it's not like you're at a bar and like having fun with your girlfriends and a guy sees you smiling at the bar and having fun and it's like, that's my girl. No, it's like you're on a dating app and you're clearly looking for something. So how do you navigate this in the new world we live in?
Yeah, I think dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge came out 2013, 2014, 2015. I'd moved to the city 2015. So like I'm 33. So like people my age were like the guinea pigs for these newer dating apps. And what I want to do and what we're trying to do is like bridge that gap, because dating apps, as Hannah says, are here to stay.
Not going anywhere.
But they're not really working because biologically humans have gotten together meeting in real life, and that's how it should be. So like we're trying to like bridge that gap, just being like, okay, here's the tool. Use the tool as you would, but do everything you can to be intentional and communicate that you're on this app because you guys both want to go on a real date and take it off of the platform. So like that's what we're trying to do is as fast as possible, make sure people are on the same page and know that we are both on this app because we want to go on a real date and not create that miscommunication of, okay, are you here chatting with 30 people? Are we ever going to meet? Like, why have you not asked me on a date yet? And yeah, we're just trying to bridge
So
those
I'm
gaps.
gonna ask you to explain the app in a second, because for the people who don't know. But the thing that I like here, and I love your app, is that you're honestly probably going to weed out a lot of guys, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
Yes.
I think women are going to jump. I know they're jumping on your app left and right, because this is what a lot of women want. The honest truth is some men are probably going on Hinge in these to get a Saturday, or not even a Thursday, whatever night it is, like to get
Like a Tuesday
girls.
night. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
literally.
And I think that's scary for women, and just because maybe that's not what they're looking for. Maybe it is. Who knows? But for the women who are looking for a serious thing, it's weeding out the guys who are like not ready and setting you up with the guys that are. And that's really cool.
Well, we always say this, like, we're very big advocates, the fact that there is space in the dating realm for every dating app, right? If you want a thing like a Tinder where you can just go and hook up with somebody, or it's like a quick match, but it's like you can have multiple matches, same thing with Hinge and Bumble. No worries. But the reason why he created this, and this was after, it was purely for women in mind, because he went out on dates with women being like, what are your grievances? What do you not like about the dating app world? Which I thought was really fascinating.
Cool.
Yeah,
then-
I was dating for research.
Oh my God,
Really.
that's literally the story of my life.
You were upfront about it, which was nice. You're like, you're sitting there like,
Oh, I wasn't like going on the dates being like, okay, I need a date tonight for research. It was like, okay, like I'm interested in this person. Let's go on a date. I knew like I was probably not going to be her boyfriend or marry her, but I was like, all right, like you don't like dating apps. And we met on a dating app. Why don't you like it? And then they tell me, I'm like, okay.
That's unbelievable.
And I would just do that all the time.
I'm like the weirdo because I'm obsessed with what I do. And you see when like you make a difference, it's so powerful. And I'm obsessed. So when I'm like going through a super anxious time and like I feel so sad, I'm like, amazing. This is research for how I'm going to help somebody in the future. So like it's similar idea of like using these real life things to then go and help people. So you did that. That's very cool. Before we move on, can you tell us a little bit about the app and just like how it works? Because it's very different.
very different.
Yeah. So I like to say like there's 3 key differentiators with the app, but to give like a quick rundown. So like the interface, the discovery page is the same as like Hinge. So you'll see someone's profile, the prompts, their information, but you don't just like them and then wait for them to like you back and then you have a match. So if you see someone you're interested in, you'll have the little heart. When you click the heart, it then gives you the prompts to set up an actual date. So they'll be like, pick a drink. So you get like a coffee, a juice, a mocktail. So you pick the drink type.
Or alcoholic, by the way.
Cocktail.
Yeah,
Did you not say
He said
mocktail?
mocktail, and I was like, there's
Mocktail,
alcohol
cocktail.
in there, by the way.
We definitely had a lot of cocktails our first date night.
So once you pick the drink, it then prompts you to pick a time. So you'll pick like Friday, 8 o'clock. You'll then pick the location. So once you click the location, it gives you like a list of the places we recommend, places that you've selected, places in your area. So you'll select a place and then it curates this little date invitation. It's like, okay, it's a beer at Soho House, Friday, 8 o'clock. And then you'll send that over to the person's profile and they'll get an alert saying, Joe wants to buy you a beer at Soho House at 8 o'clock Friday. Then that person could then look at the profile. And if they're interested, they could accept it. If they're not, they could reject it. Or if they're busy, they could be like, hey, I'm interested, but here are the modified date details.
Okay.
And then we also added a new feature for women where they could be like, hey, I'm interested in you, but you plan the date and ask me out.
Adds an element of chivalry, which is really
So
lovely.
that's
love
the
it.
first problem it solves is the number one complaint I got from women was, well, the number one turnoff I got from women was that men didn't know how to plan a date. And again, women can initiate, but essentially this first thing fixes that problem from the get-go. It's like, here is the plan for the date. I want to meet you in person. The second thing is we only allow you to have one confirmed date per day. So essentially one match per day, because that's the other problem is that you have so many matches and you could be talking to so many people that even when you're on a date with somebody, you both know in the back of your mind, okay, you're talking to all these people, like who's your next date with? So, and then it runs into the issue of like, I've done this a million times where I say the same thing to the person I said to somebody else. And like, you asked me that yesterday. And I'm like, damn it.
Oh my God. This is just,
So,
see, I never had that, but that's a disaster.
so I think, and they say like the human brain could only focus on like 3 to 5 people at a time anyway. So the fact that we only allow you to have 7 connections at a time is like really important for us. And then the third thing is we only allow you to talk for 24 hours before the date. So this kind of fixes 2 problems. One is becoming pen pals. And, you know, you guys just chat and chat and chat and you never meet, which is an issue for a lot of people.
Yes.
Or the other thing is like you create this version in your head of someone and you're always going to make them better than they actually are. So when you do meet them, you have this false narrative of them.
Preconceived notions.
And you're just always let down no matter how great they are. And then the other thing is like you could over research somebody which is like a really big problem. And
Interesting.
I think people need to look into this more. We had Erica on our podcast yesterday, who's a dating coach, and she's a big advocate of this as well, where it's like, yeah, you want to be safe, especially like, as a man, I want women to be so safe.
Mm-hmm.
But if you over-research somebody or over-Google them, you're just going to find a reason to not go on the date. And if I did that for her, we would have never went on a date.
No, the amount of shit that's on the internet about me.
What?
Well,
What
just
could
that,
possibly be
and just like
about you?
like our political views weren't like fully aligned. Like she was a vegan, I was not a vegan. Lifestyles, like if I saw all this, I'd be like, oh, like there's
no way we're gonna get along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that preconceived notion of
so those three things of planning the date, 1 date per day, only chatting for 24 hours before you meet somebody. Those are like the three things that really differentiate us.
The over looking into somebody takes away a lot of the sexiness of showing up on a date and being excited to find, the overlooking, the over talking of there's a sexiness that you want in a date.
Yeah, the mystery.
Even the smell, like
literally
everything.
there's and sometimes the dating apps take away the chivalry, the sexiness of not knowing the person. Another thing and I'm so excited about it, clearly, because this is what I do all day long, is I talk to women who want to meet their person, and that's beautiful. And this is an amazing platform for them to be on as they do the inner work, as they do the outer work. But one thing that I always hear is there's so many fish in the sea at this point, and you can swipe left and right, and like it takes away that human aspect. And I think it was at Stanford, there was a study. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
It's Friday, everybody.
Okay, so the study at Stanford is that the whole class was given the choice of 2 paintings, and you got to take one home, right? So everyone chooses their painting, they take it home. 1 year later, half of the students are offered to switch. And the whole time, half of the students know that they're offered to switch the painting. So 1 year later, it's like, do you still like your painting or do you want another one? And then once they did that, they took a survey as to who likes their painting the most, right? And the ones that had the option of switching their paintings always ranked lower on liking their painting versus the people who were stuck with their painting liked it. So the way that this applies to what you're saying is that like, if you can always switch your painting, if you can always find something better, whether it's like in the back of your mind on the app, there might always be something better, someone I'm talking to who so you're not fully present, you don't get to give that thing enough of an opportunity, right? Like if you can, and I think this actually goes all the way through dating and into divorce, where I think there's way too much divorce in the world these days. If you can always switch it.
Yeah.
Why
I'm going
not?
to say something that he laughs at me every single time I say it because I say it so much, but I'm a very firm believer in this. The grass is greener on the side that you water it.
Oh my God, my favorite thing in the world. And actually, it's something that Jonathan teaches me because he's my biggest teacher in the world, is that, and we live in a very comparison world, social media, all of this stuff, it's constant comparison. And just on the basic thing of the grass is always greener. Like if you're looking at
this idea that the grass is always going to be greener, like you see people who are on dates who are still looking at the dating app while they're on a date.
See, that's a disaster.
It's not allowing themselves to focus. And I think that's why, as you were saying, it's like the key differentiators between our app and everything else is the fact that we allow you that opportunity to go, all right, for an hour and a half. A day, exactly. We're not even suggesting that you go out for dinner either. It's like, go and have a drink with somebody.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Even
you don't
coffee.
like them, you go away.
Even coffee.
So,
show up and speed the process up.
Be intentional about the dating experience. Be present with that person for that
100%.
hour. And if at the end of the hour you don't like them, no skin off your nose, babe. You're straight back where you were. No worries with that.
Exactly.
So it goes back to the point that I was saying earlier about like when I saw her, I did like the calculation, like I'm never going to find someone this good again. But
it's true. It's
really
to put it in study or research form, there's a study that says in your life, a normal adult will meet, say, 10 people in their life that is a serious contender to be like in a relationship with. And the first 3 people you'll usually not be with because you're just figuring out what you want, what you really like in life. And those are like the test pigs for what you want in a relationship. Then person 4, 5, and 6 is usually the person you're most suitable to end up with because now you know what you want and you're looking for those type of people. If you go past 6 and then you're like 7, 8, 9, 10,
highly unlikely.
It's highly unlikely because then you'll start comparing them to person 4, 5, and 6, and they're not going to be as good. And that's kind of when you're screwed. So it's like,
and we did have a neuroscientist on our podcast who confirmed this information. So that just like having him confirm that was really fascinating.
yeah. So like, that's why I always thought, going back to wanting kids and to be married, yeah, of course, every guy in a alternative universe is like, I want to be single forever and just like sleep with 20-year-old girls. Like, yeah, okay, cool. But that's not real.
Yeah, it's not what we're
So if you think that way, what's your life going to be like when you're 50? You're probably, and if you want to be with somebody eventually, the person you're with's probably not going to be as good as somebody you met when you were younger.
100%. And I have so many thoughts here, so I'm going to run with them. One thing that I will say, and I guess this can kind of lead us into, the end of this one, but onto many, is that in the end of the day, you're looking for one person, only one person, and when you're over swiping on a million dating apps, and okay, fine, you can be on different ones for different reasons, you lose sight that you're looking for this one person who, yes, in the end of the day might drive you crazy when you end up marrying them, but you love them.
Most definitely will drive you crazy.
100%. What you will, giving you guys all the insight you're going to.
You're going to hate your husband at some point. You're going to.
And it's okay. It just means you're married. Doesn't mean there's something better out there. Like,
hate and love are very close together.
Same feeling. You just got to switch it back to the love real quick. So you're looking for one person. And when you're over swiping and when you're over like doing it, you lose sight and you go on these dates and you hope the guy likes you potentially so that you can feel good about yourself. And if they don't like you, you leave feeling worse about yourself and you continue on these dates, right? But if you go on a dating app like this with the intention of I am looking for one person and I'm going to meet them, and if it's not my person, great. Like, let's celebrate whether they don't like us or we don't like them. It's the same thing. It's not our person. One step closer
You've
to
learned
finding
something.
her. One step closer. Exactly. And you said you have to go through certain relationships to find what you're looking for and what you're not looking for. So every single relationship you go through, every single date you go through is only a learning experience to get you to the one person, and then an entire new journey begins of
like I think about all of the shitty people I dated before him, but I had to go through that so that I could come to the place where I knew what I was worth, how I wanted it to be done. And so it's like the women of the world. It's like, it's okay if you go on a couple of shitty dates. Doesn't matter. It's, as you said, it's knowledge, it's information
100%.
that is invaluable to you on your dating journey. And then one day you will reach the destination.
100%. And if I'm ever sitting with my husband and I hate him, I think about the shitty people I dated. I'm like, just kidding. I love you again. So quickly before you guys head out, as quick as you guys can, what would be your one advice, either from your own life or just in general, that you would have for people dating these days? Each of you, I want you to answer. Like, what's your one main advice that you want to give?
Do you want to go first? Do you have it?
Yes, this is dating.
Yeah, dating.
Okay.
Not marriage, dating.
I would say treat every first date as a really fun opportunity to meet somebody new without expectation of, is this potentially my partner, my husband? Literally try as best. I know it's difficult. Try as best you can to just treat it as like you're meeting a new friend and just get to know them, see if you guys vibe, and have fun. Like, just keep it casual and fun because taking the pressure off is going to help you. And it's just also not going to set any expectations. So I think first dates, just treat it as a fun opportunity.
That's exactly what I would say. It's
and
like,
that's why you guys are
and that's why
soulmates.
we're married. just don't put so much pressure on yourself or the other person. As we were just saying, people could feel that. You can feel that energy. So just like, take it easy. Understand that you're a gorgeous creature in this world. There's going to be that person out there. Enjoy the journey.
100. That's literally my husband and I. It's like one advice to people is have fun, because fun is sexy to the partner, to the universe. Like, you want to be with someone who's smiling and laughing. And the worst thing that comes from smiling and laughing in life is that you have a little bit of fun. So the more fun you can have, the better your life is. You can't take an unhappy journey to a happy destination. So if you're hoping,
I like that a lot.
one of my favorite quotes.
I really like that.
If you're hoping to meet your person so you can be happy, if you're not happy on the journey, you won't be happy when you meet them. So I love this advice. Go have fun. You're looking for your person. So along the way, have some
also
fun.
Be yourself. Be unequivocally yourself. All of your quirks and all your weirdness, and that is who makes you up, and that is a beautiful thing. Like, these people who are trying to conform to these standards, this comparison culture that we live in, it is the death of people's like energy. And I think one of the reasons you love me so much because I'm so weird, right?
Oh my
It's
God,
like-
I'm
and,
And
so
you let
weird.
me be myself.
and
Like,
exactly. And
Uh-huh.
people only know me in public. Me in
I
private.
know you.
I don't know how
Oh
many
my
women would
gosh.
be able to put with me in private.
No, exactly. Be yourself
Be
because
yourself,
you end up
babe.
waking up with that person every single day, falling asleep with them every single night. We do say this is in Judaism, but you date Rachel, you marry Leah. It's a whole story, whatever. But like the person you date, you end up marrying. You know, Jonathan used to like watch TV in bed, so loud basketball. And I was like, yeah, don't worry, I'll just fall asleep. Now he moves his toe and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
We
I'm
got into
trying
a
to-
I do the
huge
same
fight
thing.
when I put SportsCenter on in the morning. She just woke up and was like, I can't
I don't have
fucking
my-
wake up to
Yeah.
SportsCenter ever
I don't even
anymore."
have my eyes on. Like, if you don't fucking turn that off right now, I'm gonna lose it.
Exactly. And there's something great. You're always supposed to remember that you dated Leia because, and this goes for men and women. So anyways, it's having fun. It's being yourself. Shine as who you are. Have so much fun. Go on first rounds on me because it takes you back to that sexy dating that we're all looking for. Just to let everyone know, where do they find you? How do they join the app?
You could find me at First Rounds on Joe on Instagram. I don't have a big presence, so you're not going to find much. She's the cool one in the relationship. The app is on the App Store, Android and iOS, and it's FROME. Frome stands for First Rounds on Me. And you could follow the app's Instagram, which is really fun. First Rounds on Me on Instagram.
Love
Mine's
it.
just Hannah Glasby, but I'm not very active on it. So
she's
You
cool.
guys are both saying you're not active.
Yeah,
Who's
she's
the
got all
active
like the
one?
celebrity friends and the all the cool lifestyle stuff.
Yeah, love fun.
Then I married you.
Oh my God, then your life's over.
So uncool
Just
now.
kidding. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank
Everyone
you.
join the app and go happy dating. And have
Remy,
some
this was
fun.
incredible.
Thank
We
you,
cannot
Remy.
wait to pod
Appreciate
stop.
it.
It's
This
been
is so much
incredible.
fun.
You guys are the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope you liked it as much as we did. Now go send it to someone who needs to hear it because we know that dating, relationships, marriage can be tough, but we want to make it less tough. And remember, you're allowed to hate your husband. Whatever you're feeling is allowed. So go send it to a friend, to your sister, your brother, maybe your boyfriend, a husband, whoever needs to hear this, send it to them. And while you're at it, click the follow button, click the review button. Always feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and we're so excited to see you in our next episode.